the next point of the conversation. The reason we're doing this the way we're doing it instead of in face-to-face in the same room is the pandemic, and we're moving people where they need to go. That's been the industry's mission. Well, 1947 was when NBAA started. What exactly have we done as an industry to respond to the need for cleanliness? I've been heard to say again in previous conversations, the message you always got from your mom was, don't put that in your mouth. You don't know where that's been. And the same thing can be said about airline seats or charter seats or seats in an FBO. You don't know who was there before you. And maybe you don't want to sit there. So what are we doing as an industry to make sure that the airplanes and the ground facilities are acceptable to the passengers and safe?
I'm happy to jump in this. So NEPA, we came out with the Safety First Clean initiative, where we got a bunch of experts together and came up with a clean standard. So it's from the time of the vehicle coming to the FBO or driving onto the ramp to the plane itself, the Part 135 plane, to exiting the FBO, just creating a cleanliness standard. An interesting phenomenon that we've seen and have had discussions with our Part 135 operator members is that the new time clients that will come on will bring on their own Clorox wipes and start wiping everything down. It's been actually damaging the seats and the leather. And so it's been part of the education process to let them know, please don't wipe anything down. It's already been a part of the education process of some members having large billboards up of what they've done to comply with the Safety First Clean standard.
Yeah, and along those lines, Gil, we're learning from each. Sharing experience has been part of our community from the time Captain Jeff was, charting airports and PIREPs and everything else. And I think we've done a good job collectively of sharing experiences. What are the experts saying? How does that work? And so whether it is communicating how to disinfect an airplane, how to have maintenance teams work together, there has been a lot of attention paid by what are people trying, what is working, and what are we learning. And so there have been a number of forums, webinars, and so forth that I think have helped get the message out. I think our community, as it always is, has been desperate for operating experience and an opportunity to learn from it. I think we're all collectively working to make sure that what is working is well known.
And Ed, I would piggyback on that. If you think back to the beginning weeks of the pandemic, it was very quick that our industry was considered essential. And so we were able to stay operating in our factories and our maintenance facilities, which meant that we had to come up with mitigating measures to be able to stop the spread within the factory or the hangar and that. And then other industries learn from our experience. And just talking with many of my members a few hours ago, we have had very, very few cases in our maintenance facilities or in our factories where there's been any spread, which is far different in a lot of other industries. The incidents that we've had have been mainly people catching it at home from another family member, but because we do a good job of communicating, saying if you don't feel good, don't come to work. We're testing people, taking temperatures and really surveying people coming in. It is surprising to me how few incidences we have had within our factories and maintenance facilities. So again, aviation is risk management. We do this each and every day. And I'm just thankful I'm in an industry where people do smart things with risk management to be able to handle this pandemic.
Just one more point of view on that too. From the very beginning of this pandemic, we were concerned about airport access. Of the 5,000 airports, as we pointed out, but there were about as many as 11 for a short period of time where we had to educate the local responsible party for the airport because they want to close them and, you know, reduce the access. We reminded them that A, it's a federally guaranteed access, and if you're not going to close the highways, you're not really saving yourselves anything anyway. And to date, all airports in the whole community remain open. We also have a website up that has all of the different restrictions, and it's updated daily, weekly. You know, if you've been to this state, you may need to quarantine yourself for this amount of time. That's being accessed thousands and thousands of times a week because people need to know before they go about what the expectation is in those communities.
You might want to add one other point, and that's to caution the aircraft owners not to use the Clorox wipes on their leather seats.
We will do that too.
You know, just one last thing on that, Pete. You talked about the ability to learn and mitigate risk, and I'll just give a shout out to the FAA. Obviously, we've had tower problems. We continue to have tower problems, but we've quickly adapted to learning how to operate when there's an ATC 0 situation. And what we are learning is a lot of the procedures that we had in place work. They work on a large scale. It's a very robust system. And so I think, you know, to the credit of the entire aviation industry, we experiment, we learn, we have plans, we have backup plans and backup plans to the backup plans. And we're not afraid to pivot from one to the other.
I think one more thing for Pete's group is that, you know, I think it's amazing how many of these manufacturers stepped into other categories to build PPE equipment, move it around. So the response from GA has been strong from both the manufacturing and the output, as well as being involved in getting critical equipment moved around the country.
It was a lot like the entry into World War II, where the auto industry and everything pivoted, you know, virtually overnight to be able to start building munitions and things like that. To Ed's point, Administrator Dixon just said when he was with us a little while ago, last night 2 centers went down. They were only down an hour. They got in the cleaning crews in there and got them back up right away, and that's a real testament to being able to do that, and also what all of us have done collectively to figure out how you can use ultraviolet ionizing and different things like that to be able to quickly sanitize an area. So hats off to everyone to work this problem.
And not only the ground facilities, but the aircraft manufacturers themselves examining how the HEPA filters work and everything else, so that the overall safety, even once the pandemic passes, the safety within the ground facilities and within the aircraft is going to be better than it was.
I think it's to our advantage, the fact that we have been proactive, like Ed and Pete have talked about the cleanliness, and we're new, and people are smart, they recognize it, and this is hopefully a sustaining model that we continue to do so and not, you know, get lazy, but we need to continue sending the message of cleanliness.